Hello everybody, Mr. Meatshield here, and this is my review for John Wick Chapter 2. This film was directed by Chad Stahelski, hope I'm saying that right, and before this movie, the only other film that he's directed, it was John Wick, the first movie, and before that he was a stuntman, and I gotta hand it to him, he has been doing a great job with these two films. Now, of course, this film stars Keanu Reeves coming back as John Wick. Uh, Again, just like in the first film, he is just amazing in this. He doesn't do all his own stunts as he answered in that one Twitter Q&A, but he does do a lot of his own action films, like when he's doing the martial arts and the gunplay. In fact, if you watch the Angry Joe review of this film, he shows Keanu doing gun training in the background, and it very much works for him in this movie. The other actors in this, of course, is Ian McShane as Winston. When that character is the manager of the Continental Hotel in New York. Again, he plays it the same as the last time, and again, still works. Ricardo Scamarcio, never heard of this guy, but he plays a character named Santino D'Antonio. Again, tied very much to John Wick, and he is a main character in this movie as well. He does a very, very good performance. Dude is smug when he needs to be. He is, I wouldn't exactly say threatening, but he plays his character very well. Ruby Rose, never heard of this actress before, but apparently she is also going to be in the next Pitch Perfect, and apparently she's also in the final chapter of Resident Evil, as well as the Return of Xander Cage. Those are two movies that I did not see, and somewhat glad I didn't see. The Triple X movie I sort of wanted to see, but didn't have the time to. In this movie, she plays Santino's bodyguard slash personal assassin as well. She does all right. She sort of looks like a dude, but I guess that's what they were going for. Common was in this. He plays another assassin named Cassian. They made much better use of him in this movie compared to what he did in Suicide Squad. Let me tell you that. Lawrence Fishburne also in this movie, and according to Keanu in that Twitter interview that they did, this is the first time they've reunited since the Matrix movies. He plays the Bowery King, and he plays it well. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne, of course, known for his work in the Matrix and the CSI series. He's a good actor, and as the Bowery King, he someone who also has a history with the character John Wick. He does all right. The plot of this movie, of course, it takes place days or weeks after the first movie, and starts off actually where John comes after his car, which he never got back in the first movie, and he ties up that loose end from the first film. And as he's finally back home, relaxing, he gets a doorbell and answers it, and there is Santino D'Antonio with a job for him. John, of course, says that he's retired and insists that he's retired. Unfortunately, Santino has this thing called a marker, which is basically some sort of blood pact. Excuse me, where you owe somebody a favor basically when you do this. And it if the guy gives it back to you, they're basically cashing in that favor. And we learned that it is because of Santino that John was able to get out of the his life as an assassin. And this is where the marker comes in. And of course, John unfortunately refuses him, and Santino didn't exactly like that. So Santino does something. John goes to Winston, says, "Is there any way out of this?" And unfortunately, he says, "Rules are rules. That marker uh, has to be, what's it called? Has to be fulfilled." That's not exactly the word I'm looking for, but that's the one I can think of right now. And so the movie goes on to how John goes and does this job for Santino. And that's about as far as I'm going to say uh, to avoid major spoilers. So, as far as the action goes, people are saying that there's a higher body count in this movie. To me, personally, it feels like it's lower, but the body count is lower, but the action is much better. I mean, the opening action scene with the cars, I don't think they had that in the first movie, or at least it wasn't as good as as it was in this one. There, it feels like there's less gunfights and more emphasis on martial arts in this. I mean, there's still a lot of gunfights, and it's still a lot of headshots, and but the martial arts in this is just amazing. I mean, the kills in this that didn't involve guns is pretty cool. Especially John's fight with Common. That fight was pretty long, and he even had to have a short break in between, and then there's a round two of that later on. It's just incredible how they fought, and it's a very satisfying fight to watch. Um, what else can you say? It's also great to see much more of this sort of assassin world shown. Like they actually show how John gets his weapons. They show where how he sees, or how he gets to plan out this his mission. Like they get a map of the place that he's gonna go to. They show there's actually these assassins actually go to a tailor, just like what's his called Daredevil on the next Netflix show, how he has someone actually making his suits, and they show how those suits actually protect these assassins from gunfire, because John Wick actually gets shot a lot in this, and he actually gets hurt. And when he gets hurt, he's like hurt for the rest of the movie. So that adds to the realism of the action, and it's amazing. You get to see how more of how this assassin world works, and that's always fun to learn the lore behind the world that they're building. Ruby Rose as Ares, she doesn't say much or anything at all, and speaks through sign language. Her action scene is pretty satisfying as well. Lawrence Fishburne doesn't really, of course, have any action scenes himself, but he does play a role in helping John Wick. By the end of this movie, they are pretty much saying that There will be a third movie, but even then, even if they they didn't make a third one, it's pretty satisfying to see this movie end the way it did. Of course, I can't say how it ends because that's gonna be a spoiler. But let's say they don't make a third movie at all. This movie can stand alone by itself, uh, along with the and it supplements the first movie. Um, it really makes you look forward to a third movie, but are still satisfied with this alone. Um, so yeah, go see this movie. If you love action, if you love the first movie, you're gonna love this one. The action is just ramped up. The martial arts is amazing. There's still a ton of headshots, of course, and you will not be disappointed at all if you go see this. Thank you very much for watching the video all the way through. And remember to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. I can also be found on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and VidMe. The links are on the screen right now. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.